Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. This is your host, Paul Metsa. We have an incredible show with an incredible musician tonight, and not only musician and songwriter, she's also a yoga instructor, and she takes yoga people all around the world. We're going to talk about it all. Mary Bue is in Minneapolis as we speak, and she's got a great new record that she's going to be having a CD release party for on March 28th in Duluth, Minnesota at the Sacred Heart Performing Arts Center. Opening up will be the great Galen Lee. The record is called The Wildness of Living and Dying. We're going to hear 3 tracks from it tonight. Mary won in 2020 the Songwriter of the Year in City Pages, if you remember that weekly magazine, and sorely missed, by the way. And she's got a great story to tell, a very talented woman, and I was listening to the record last night, and I absolutely love it. With no further ado, I'd like to welcome Mary Bue. Mary, how are you?
I'm great. So happy to be here. Thank you. Hi, everybody.
The record's really good.
Thank you so much. I greatly appreciate it, especially from you.
It's the 9th record that you've done, right?
Yep.
When did your first one come out?
In 2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's one every 2 years. That's not
bad. Something like that. I've had, some breaks but yeah, it's very raw, a lot of those songs I wrote when I was 16, 17. So it's kind of a cringe to me, but some people still love it.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Princeton, Minnesota, just an hour northwest, the Twin Cities. Yep.
Sure.
Small town.
I believe Kevin Odegaard, who played guitar on Tangled Up in Blue on Blood on the Tracks, Dylan's best-selling record, is also a Princeton native.
You are correct. I have never met Kevin, but I do know that.
Was there any other Odegaards up in Princeton?
There were. I believe was there a car dealership?
Right. I've heard that.
Yeah. Yeah, I blasted out of there as soon as I could. But my parents are still there. It's beautiful land. I have some dear friends, but I was like, ready for the city.
You spent some time in Duluth as well?
Yes, I went to UMD, and I finished my bachelor's in psychology there, and I actually moved back a few times after that. It's complicated, but I love Duluth. Yeah.
Well, I think the only harder thing making a living as a musician is trying to make a living with a psychology degree.
Yeah, I mean, you have to go on and become a therapist or, I actually did work in the field. I was doing clinical research at a hospital and a prison for a while, but
wow.
Yeah, but I don't like the desk jobs, and I wanted to be creative, making music and on the road, and yeah.
So when young Mary was growing up in Princeton, what kind of music were you listening to?
Ooh, it's gone through many phases, definitely. My folks listened to Dylan and the Beatles and Joni, and so that was like early. And then I got into, I loved the Supremes.
Sure.
And I was just talking about my first album I ever bought, or CD, was Toni Braxton.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I had a country phase. I was listening to some Pam Tillis yesterday. But then, later in high school, I got really into the grunge. So Nirvana, Smashing Pumpkins, Juliana Hatfield. And then I became a raver too. So I love electronic. I love music. I explore a lot.
Well, this new record that I don't want to get into right now, I want to talk about it more, has a lot of the those electronic elements in it, which I'm really enjoying. But the songs swing really hard and great lyrics. What was but before we get into your great new record, The Wildness of Living and Dying, let's talk a little bit about where were some of the first stages you played?
Sure. Well, the first was the very going way back. My first paying music gig was accompanying church services. So, yeah, my mom was a music director of the church. So I kind of grew up with those Methodist hymns, which adds to the melancholy vibes.
Right on, Mary. I'm a lapsed Methodist myself.
Are you now? Yep. Wow. Yeah.
It's like I tell people, they said, well, what's the Methodist church like? I said, it's a lot. It's like being a Catholic without the guilt.
Yes, it's kind of chill, right?
No.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
So once you got so you're doing some church gigs, then where did you start playing, like out in public?
Out in public, there was a coffee shop in Princeton that I had my first show, but that was all covers. But then when I moved to Duluth, my very first original music gig was at Amazing Grace.
Sure.
And I became a barista there, and I became very entwined. And, you probably know Chip and have played there, I'm sure, many times.
I was really good friends, still am, with John Ward and Lori Hatton.
I love them. Oh, yeah. They brought me up in a way. Kim and Bev and all the chicks. Yeah. John and Lori are just legendary. I love them.
Did you ever play, they live, not too far from downtown. Mm-hmm. And there was that old Bell telephone building that they used to, in fact, Lowe did some of their first gigs there. Did you ever play there?
I didn't. I just had moved to Duluth in 98, and it was just like a little before my awareness of what was going on in the scene there. But I sure wish I had caught that wave.
Yeah.
That sounded really cool.
Well, Duluth, I've been playing in Duluth forever. Mm-hmm. It really it's a thing now. I mean, it's a big music town.
Definitely.
So you were kind of there just when those, it's always been a great music town. Yeah. But I mean, when Charlie Parr was coming of age and Al Sparhawk and Mimi were coming of age. And and now you're returning to the Sacred Heart. So you've really seen a 25-year progression of the music in Duluth and the Twin Ports.
Yeah, it was such a beautiful place to get the music going. Really welcoming, I felt, and just exciting too. In 98, those early 2000s, there weren't as many venues. It kind of goes in and out, but Amazing Grace and the North Shore, like the mezzanine shows, and I was playing gigs with Charlie, and Trampled was playing at Bev's Juke Joints before Simple Junction, and Low, of course, and Haley, and oh my gosh, so many amazing humans. So
what did besides the music scene, mm-hmm. and of course the beautiful Lake Superior, what else did you like about Duluth? When I've lived up here, it's hard to believe, almost 4 years now.
Yes.
And it's a creative town on so many different levels.
Yeah. Yeah. In college, I would just walk for hours. I would walk all over. I'd spend 5 hours just wandering, and I'd find those hidden staircases, in the West Side, and these overgrown, ruined stairwells, and over by Congdon, and then up by off Skyline. There's a whole bunch of them, and so I just loved. I felt like Duluth was so mysterious and poetic, and even though the winters were so brutal, that was amazing too, the storms. And it's I live I'm in South Minneapolis, and it's kind of ticky-tacky houses, and I've always thought why do that? Everything kind of looks the same. Why not be in an epic place? And the lake in Duluth just obviously tempers the cold because of it. It's so beautiful, so I love.
So when are you moving back up?
I know, I almost did a few years ago. It's, it's always in the back of my mind.
I just had a friend of mine visit on her way up to visit her daughter up in the North Shore. And we had a cup of coffee together. She brought me a caramel roll from Toby's. And she's thinking about, she lived right outside of White Bear Lake, grew up on a farm. And she's getting to the point in her life, she's thinking about pulling up roots and moving up here to God's country.
Yes, it really is.
So besides being a musician and songwriter, you're also a yoga instructor. When did you get involved with yoga?
I always say my first taste of like yogic philosophy was actually through Taekwondo in 7th grade, because they taught us how to meditate.
Right.
And then in late high school, someone lent me a book. It was Richard Hittleman's 28-Day Yoga. He was like a TV yoga guy, and he taught like yoga for the housewife, which is like terrible. But I started, and then 17 magazine had an article. So I started like around when I was like 16, 17, it was on my radar. And then when I moved to Duluth, I started going to yoga classes, and I weaved it into my psychology degree. The head of the psychology department was a man named Dr. Bud McClure, and he was pretty revolutionary, and he was from Southern California and brought a lot of like what Eastern philosophy into the program. So there was like transpersonal psychology, meditation, and yoga. So I got really involved there. And then I moved to Seattle and got my teacher training in Seattle in 2009. So I've been teaching about 15 years.
Well, Seattle, another beautiful town.
Yes. It's like a giant Duluth, you know.
I played out there at a place called the Crocodile Cafe.
Heck yeah, that's so cool. I've never played there, but I've been there. It's so rad. Yeah. That's awesome.
It was really cool. You know, I got a fun meditation story. When I was last year of high school, back right after the Civil War, these two guys came to the city hall to talk about transcendental meditation. This was in the mid-'70s. Mm-hmm. And so I had been reading about it. I go, this sounds really interesting. Yeah. So they had rented a couple of rooms above the Royal Hotel on the main drag. And so if you wanted, I forget what it cost, probably $30 back then, to get a mantra and learn transcendental meditation. But now when I got to the rooms, these guys that were in white shirts and ties, city council meeting, were now wearing all these floral things. They were sitting cross-legged. There was flowers and lights all over the room. So I did my introduction and got my mantra. And so I've been doing transcendental meditation for over 40 years.
That's so cool.
Yeah, no. The one thing, there was a little glitch 5 or 6 years ago. I was reading somewhere and it said, do not smoke marijuana and do transcendental meditation at the same time because it can cause brain damage. Yeah, but I learned that a little too late.
I mean, they go hand in hand, right? No, I haven't done TM actually, but a lot of friends do. And I was just in India and I went to the ruins of the Maharishi Mahesh Yogi ashram, and that's where the Beatles went and Donovan. And so it's incredible. Yeah. And just to, see the gallery of photos of the Beatles sitting with the Maharishi and just how, you're practicing it. It's just so many people, what a wave, what a beautiful thing. So,
well, we are going to, let's see, we're going to listen to a song with Mary Bue. We're going to talk more about her yoga, traveling to India, the new record, her show, March 28th at the Sacred Heart Performing Arts Center. But we're going to listen to a cut off her new track called Right Now, and we're going to listen to it right now. Here's Mary Bue.
Before work. Right now someone cries bitter tears in a courtroom. Right now a fire is burning in the streets. Right now the moon is waxing to fullness. Right now a woman sits leaden with grief. Right now the sunflowers droop heavy-headed. Right now the bed of many Power Radio Hour.
That means you're back with the Wall of Power Radio Hour and your host, Paul Metsa. My guest, Mary Bue, we just listened to a great song of hers called Right Now. So let's get in. Let's start talking about when did this record start? Where did you record it? And who are some of those great musicians on it?
Thank you so much. Yeah, this record's unique because I wrote all the songs kind of in the same time period of mid-2020 to 2023-ish. And I worked with my producer, Steve Price.
Sure.
He's legendary in the suburbs, and he was in Rex Daisy and Trailer Trash. And we worked together on the last album, The World Is Your Lover, which came out in 2020. Great year to put a record out. So Steve Price and the same band from the last record, Jeremy Ilvasaker on guitar, who's also in the suburbs, just a phenomenal man.
Oh, he's he's in a class in a world by himself.
Yes, he is.
I did a gig. I sat in with Keith Sikola. Do you know Keith?
I do. Yeah, not well, but I adore him. What an awesome human.
We grew up together up in northern Minnesota. He was in a band with my brother.
Cool.
And, so he was down at the Astor Cafe, not the new one you just played that I want to talk about with Scarlet Goodbyes.
Yeah.
And Jeremy was the guitar player there. And I had heard him on some recordings, but he is really a magician with that guitar.
Magician is the perfect word. And yeah, he's so masterful and such a good human, like true blue, amazing heart. Yeah. Good one. Good human.
What studio did you do that?
We did it at Steve Price's home studio. Yep. And so it was Steve, Jeremy, the drummer's Richard Medic. And Richard, he's Eric Koskinen's main guy. And he's a session player in Nashville and just phenomenal, also masterful. And then the strings are Julia Floberg on cello and Shannon Fried Rubin on violin. And Shannon plays with Cloud Cult. So she's, and then Julia has a cello quartet, and she actually moved down to Malacca and has a farm where they raise birds and vegetables. Oh. I know. So really awesome. I'm so grateful to collaborate with those folks.
I never got it together. The home, and I know I have a lot of my friends that have home studios, but it's like I could plug my Telecaster into a twin reverb and then I'm topped out. Mechanically, I was talking to the great Ricky Peterson, who's been playing with Stevie Nicks for years and Fleetwood Mac, and we're talking about doing a project together. And he said, Paul, do you have a studio in your basement? And I said, no, Ricky, I have a cassette recorder on my kitchen table. So I give credit to guys like Steve and others who actually got it together enough. They can record in their, wherever their room in their houses, save $75 to $200 an hour.
Totally. Yeah, it's a converted garage space. It's beautiful. But it is like, what do we want to focus on? Do we want to write music and then have the ability to record it, but then we have to spend all the time learning that stuff? Right. That would be amazing. And also it's nice to just kind of show up and relax and have someone share that technical stuff.
I totally agree. For me, when I go into the studio, it's like I don't work on my own car.
Yeah.
I like to go into a garage, whatever they're going to charge me, fix my car. Same thing in the studio. I like to go in the studio, let the other guys twirl the knobs. And then that's the time, as let somebody else do that. And you can really just be the artist.
Yes. I like that too.
So what When I called you the other day to set up this interview, you were in the middle of a piano lesson. Do you give lessons too?
I do. I have a very limited amount of, I used to, in COVID times, I had quite a few. I had about 25 students, piano, guitar, and I would do it on Zoom. I had to like completely reinvent everything I did. But right now I just have a couple like beginner piano and guitar and voice, and I do some like creativity coaching and stuff. But yeah, it's very cool to watch people learn and progress. And it turns into, a little bit of music therapy. People, there's just so much, people get so stressed out and like perfectionist and like nervous.
Right.
And learning, especially like you're learning instruments as adults, it's like not easy, and reading music. Right. And so I'm just like the most chill, probably a little too chill, not like very disciplinarian, but I hold space for people. It's supposed to be fun,
Yeah.
So, yeah.
When I first moved to Minneapolis in the late 70s, I was giving guitar lessons in North at a place called the Guitar Store. And I had 35 students a week. And it was, I was making my money. And back then I was starting to play at night. So I was very busy. Mm-hmm. In 1985 at the Minnesota Music Awards, I was honored. I got some award. I think it was Best Folk Group or something, given to me by Dave Staker Ray, which was the big honor. But the band called the Blue Hippos was won Best New Band of the Year. This was back then. The Minnesota Music Awards were a big deal. Yeah. There was like 2,500 people at Northrop Auditorium. And the band, Blue Hippos, won the Mabel's having her way with the she's fine.
It's like, is she throwing up back there? No, you're good.
So anyway, they won Best New Band, but they played 2 songs. But the PA went out. Couldn't hear the vocals, but they barreled through. So I saw this guy, the guitarist. He was about 18 years old now. And I was teaching in 78, so this is 7 years later. And so I went up to him in the lobby after the show, and I said, man, you're great. This show must go on. Mabel, give me that. That was Mabel. That's Mabel.
Yep, they love bottles.
Yeah. So anyway, I said, man, it was great. The show must go on. Showbiz 101. He goes, you're Paul Metsa, right? I go, yeah. He goes, you were my first guitar teacher. I said, really? I said, what's your name? He goes, Paul Osby. I go, 1:00 on Wednesday. He goes, that's me. He goes, yeah. He said, my mother used to pick me up at school. He was in 6th or 7th grade. Take me down at 1:00 for my lesson. He said, you'd be reeking of marijuana lunch hour, and you'd make me play the chords to Sweet Home Alabama for a half hour while you soloed. I go, dude, the proof is in the pudding. You just won Best New Band of the Year. So we all, I guess, we all have our different ways of teaching.
That's amazing. I love it. Now, well, that gives me permission to, go a little different direction. No,
I thought weed was legal back then. What did I know? So now, tell us about. Are you a yoga instructor, like weekly down in the cities?
I used to own a yoga studio. Backing up, I moved down here. I had an opportunity to take one over. So it was 2016 to 2019. It was called Imbue, like my name. Okay. Imbue yourself with well-being. But then after that, I just kind of moonlighted around different studios, and then the pandemic happened. Right. Since then I've been teaching on Zoom. I have a Patreon subscriber thing. So I teach Saturdays publicly on Zoom, online on Zoom. And then when I'm in town, and then shoot that out to my Patreon subscribers. But I just launched a yoga teacher training program. So I'm training teachers now with my master teacher, actually, who I spoke of you and she knows you, Tara Cindy Sherman.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, she's like besties with Coco, Colleen Elwood. And so she's like seen you a lot. And anyway, we launched a teacher training program. We've got 9 yoga teachers to be. But we also together and separately host retreats and stuff. So
Cool.
yeah.
You have people like where's the with your Zoom yoga? Where's like the farthest person away? I mean, because you can do this all over the world.
Oh, I've had people in let's see. Well, I've had people in Bali because I've done like 3 retreats in Bali, hosted 3 retreats there, and made some friends, and they've Zoomed in before. But yeah, so that's the farthest.
Let's for anybody out there in the radio audience that wants to Zoom yoga, how can they? What's the? Is it a Patreon or Mary Bue or what?
Yeah,
Can you track you down?
You don't have to be a Patreon subscriber. You'll get the recording if you are, but it's just go to my website, marybue.com, and then I have a yoga tab, and you can click on the events, and there's a login right there. And it's just pay what you want. Like if money's an issue, just come and breathe with me. It's not a big deal. I love it. Yeah.
And what time, Central Time?
10:30 a.m. Central Time. Yep, I always sing at the end, and we do some mantra, and your video's off, or you could have it off or on. It's very like it's going to happen anyway. So
you are a truly modern Renaissance woman, aren't you?
Thank you.
You are.
There's so much to do in this life, and I'm a little like distracted by sparkly things, and I want to do so many things, but I'm honing it in. Paul.
Let's talk about when did you come up with the idea? I'm going to take a group of yoga minded people, yoga-ettes, whatever you call them, to go to. You've been to Bali, you've been to India. When did that idea come about?
Well, I love traveling. It's a huge passion my whole life. And I would book my own tours with music. So I just started going all around and solo tours. And then I've studied abroad in England. I don't know. I just love traveling. And when I closed my yoga studio, I actually tried to launch a yoga retreat during it, but it didn't work. But when I closed it, I had a retreat up at Nanabuju, up in Grand Marais, and it's sold out, like 30 people for a weekend. And I was like, oh my gosh. But I had just been watching people, and I was like, that's like a way to bring all the things I love: music, yoga, travel, good food, like cool people all together, and like have this adventure and like really dig into like a different culture and have a huge experience together. And yeah, so I love it so much. I've done about 20 of them now.
Wow.
Both with co-hosts and separately. But yeah, Bali, Ireland, Italy, Malta, New Mexico.
Wow.
India just now. Yeah.
Then when you get to these places, then locals can also join in, right?
It's usually, we do some things with the locals. We'll like have like different adventures with them and meals with them, but it's not like open like a class or something, like because the retreat container kind of travels together. But there are like, if I do a concert or something, then that's like open, and like sometimes the yoga classes are open. So yeah.
And it's a great way to cut down on your traveling expenses.
Exactly. It's all a write-off. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I want to go here. How can I make that work? But I try and experience the place first and get, connected.
Where's the next big retreat?
The next one is in New Mexico, and it's with my friend Sarah Brocky, who's in Duluth. She's the actually head of the art department at St. Scholastica. And she's a fine artist, and so it is at Ghost Ranch, which is in Abiquiu, New Mexico, where Georgia O'Keeffe lived.
Wow.
So it's a Georgia O'Keeffe focused retreat. So we did it last summer too, and we study her. We go to her museum, her house, the land that she painted.
It's incredible.
It's just so amazing. Like that land. I mean, yeah, just to like bask in Georgia country is so cool.
I'd pay for a ticket for that. I'm afraid if I ever did the downward dog, I'd never be able to get up.
You could do it. I can tell. No problem. I mean, how are your wrists? That's the only thing.
Yeah, they're okay. No arthritis yet. Hey, when you go down there, you might be bedding down with the deer, which happens to be the next song we're going to hear off my guest, Mary Bue's record, The Wildness of Living and Dying. And we'll be back with Mary for the rest of the show. So delighted to have Mary Bue with me. Today she will be at the Sacred Heart Performing Arts Center on March 28th. Opening up will be the great Galen Lee. I've only met Galen twice. I'm going to be at that show.
Yay, I'm so happy you're coming.
Oh, yeah, I'm coming down. I can't wait.
You.
Who's going to be in the band at this show?
It's almost everyone from the record. So Jeremy Ilvasacker, who's also, I think, going to play a few with Galen. They've done some collaborating. They actually just did a play in Duluth in Minneapolis called Invisible Fences with Kevin Kling.
Right.
And Jeremy was the narrator for that. So they'll be fresh off that. So Jeremy Ilvasacker, Steve Price on bass. The drummer is going to be Noah Levy.
Oh, yeah. Nobody's better than Noah.
I love Noah. He's such a blast. So I'm really honored to, Richard has like a lot going on. So Noah is stepping in for some shows. And then Julia Floberg on cello.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm really anxious to hear you live. I've heard your name for a long time, but excuse me, this is the first time we've actually chatted other than when we were setting up the interview. Well, it's really a great record. Where is it available, like in local places like the Electric Fetus? And
Yes, yep. It's at the Fetus and it's at Hi-Fi Heron Records. I love
Johnny Clifford.
He's the best. And birthday party on Monday.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And let's see here. That's, I didn't do a big it's just me, so I didn't run around dropping things off it. But you can order it on my website. I'm shipping all the time right now. I did a Kickstarter, so I'm like in over my head sending out shirts and stuff. But I'll ship it to you personally. And then I also have streaming and downloads and Bandcamp and all that.
Are you doing LPs?
Oh yeah, yep. That's the big push. Yep, I have 3 LPs out, except I'm out of the World Is Your Lover now. But yeah, I love it.
You've got so many irons in the fire. Do you have any, what is Mary Bue's day like?
My day? It's different every day, which I love, but is also distracting. I have a very disciplined morning routine. I get up and actually, this is a little cheesy, but I get up and dance. Like I live alone, so I like put music on and I dance and I do some weights. And I know it's so cheesy. I'm like Olivia Newton-John over here.
Right.
And but yeah, I love dancing, so I do that, and I want to get more dancing.
So what time do you wake up?
Oh, it depends. Every day is different. Today I overslept, but I'm still jet lagging. But I slept till like 9:30.
Yeah.
Well, that's not oversleeping, because sometimes I'll have phases where I sleep till like 11.
Right.
But I do love the morning. I like to have like at least 2 hours before leaving the house. But yeah, I dance. I have my French press. I meditate. I do a little bit of yoga postures. I do some mantra. If I have time, I go for a run. But yeah, I'm very like, I need to like move and like focus my mind because I have a lot going on.
No doubt. I'm very impressed, by the way.
Thank you. Oh, thank you.
You feel like a complete piker, but
a complete what?
Piker, loser. You know?
You are. What are you talking about? Whatever. No comparison. Look at you.
You get a lot done now. What? Where will this record? Are you doing any touring around with it?
Yeah, a little. I'm working on that. Again, it's just I've had booking agents.
Right?
What's that?
You book yourself?
Yeah, I've had a few booking agents, and then COVID happened, and I was like, yeah, I can't. What are we doing? So I'm just, but and it's like when getting to that level of like paying everyone, and I want to, it's like but yeah, I have a few little things in the Twin Cities, but I'm gonna get out. Do some regional stuff. I'll probably book some on the way down to New Mexico, and then I'll be out west in the fall. Right before the record came out, I got to hit the road with Cloud Cult, actually. Wow. I supported them last fall out west in Seattle and Portland, and then I got to go to Nashville, Atlanta, and Durham with them in January, like right before the record was printed, so I started selling it there. But yeah, so I kind of pre-toured before the record, but there's some exciting things coming this summer and some house concerts and yeah. I'm playing up at Lutzen for that Mountain Meltdown. They haven't announced the artist yet, but that's like the week after the album release.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, very cool. Now, what sort of music are you listening to in those few minutes of the day where you have free time to listen to music?
Well, Cloud Cult, if you haven't explored, they're just beautiful. I love their music, and so I'm grateful to have supported them. And I love Cloud Cult. Right now I'm really into this artist named Sid Sriram. Have you heard of Sid Sriram yet? So he is actually a Bollywood singer. So he's from India, and he did a collaboration with Bon Iver, like the people involved in Bon Iver. And so he made like a pop, like an indie rock pop record, but it's like his gorgeous, like Indian singing and like beautiful spiritual themes. And so a little bit of electronic. So I highly recommend that. But yeah, I'm all over the place. Again, yesterday driving, I was like Pam Tillis a little bit, and I'm all over the place.
Have you heard Al Sparhawk's latest record?
I have. It's cool. Yeah, with the synth and the vocoder. Yeah. And then he's just putting one out with Trampled.
Yeah.
I love the first single from that. It's really good. I love how he sings about, I actually just messaged him. I'm like, about one of his lyrics, about you got to clean the cup holder in your dashboard. That's one of the lyrics. Yeah, I feel like the song's kind of about like getting your shit together.
Yeah. I
need to listen to it again, but I was like, that is funny.
One of the joys about living in Duluth now is getting to know. I knew Al over the years, not really well. I've gotten to know him better and hung out with him, and I've got just the utmost respect for him as an artist and a dad, and what he went through and his loss and his catalog of music that he made with his lovely wife. And the guy is, to me, he's like John Lennon of northeastern Minnesota. Truly, I think he's that good.
Very visionary, absolute creative genius for sure.
He's really in touch with the whole vibe that is Lake Superior and the glaciers that were here hundreds of thousands of years ago, and the Native American history, and he's locked in all of it at the same time.
Totally.
Yeah. Now, how about what does Mary Bue like to read when you have any time?
Ooh, well, right now, I read nonfiction. Like, I don't really read novels or anything, but I read a lot of yoga stuff and like spiritual stuff. Right now I'm reading, this is like an older book, Sacred Contracts by Carolyn Miss. I don't know if you know about that, but it's like about like karmic connections.
Right.
And yeah, I dig into the sort of a lot woo spiritual stuff. Yeah. But since I'm doing this, I'm training yoga teachers now. I am really revisiting yogic philosophy like deeply again. And like it's, having read it when I was being trained and all the other trainings, but now like reading it in a way to like teach it to people. So the yoga sutras, which is like a deep, like depth psychology about the mind and consciousness. Right. And so, and like yogic anatomy and chakras, and it's cool.
You have your Taekwondo chops together.
Yeah, I know. I want to. I feel like a little draw towards martial arts again, so we'll see. There's not much time in the day anymore.
You are a very fascinating woman. I look forward to hearing you March 28th at the Sacred Heart, which is a beautiful performing arts space. I'm looking forward to hearing Galen Lynn. Are you two going to play anything together that night?
I haven't asked her yet, but I'm going to. Yeah, she's very she's writing a book right now, so she's kind of hard to get a hold of. Yeah. So I feel so grateful. And I mean, Broadway musical and like a play and,
right.
And, like working with Michael Stipe and,
Yeah. She's got it all going on.
So I'm giving her a lot of space and also so grateful that she is hopping in for this show. I'm stoked.
What a wonderful bill.
Yeah.
What is, Mary Bue, what is your last favorite piece of advice or piece of philosophy you can leave with my listeners today?
Whoa, that's a big one. The thing that's popping up is about comparison. I've struggled with that early on in Duluth. I had a lot of comparison and jealousy stuff. So I just was recently asked advice to young artists, and it's really do anything in your power to believe that your expression is unique in the world and unique in all of time. And if you feel compelled to share your art, that it is a unique expression of you and your blueprint, and to do everything you can not to compare, because we're all on different journeys.
That is a beautiful way to end this conversation with my new friend, Mary Bue. And I, like I told you after listening, I'm your newest and biggest fan.
That means so much to me. I'm so grateful. Thank you.
Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you next week.
Awesome. Can't wait. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Wall of Power Radio Hour. We're coming up on our 11th anniversary on the air, and we really appreciate everybody out there in the listening audience. We'd like to thank our guest, Mary Bue. This show is produced by Paul Metsa, engineered by Brett Johnson. You can follow me at paulmetsa.com. Get all my records and books at the Electric Fetus in Minneapolis, and wherever else you can track them down. And like my dad used to tell me, remember to be kind and make someone happy.
Someday the high